Good morning, students. Today we are going to see Standard 7th Civics, Chapter number 5, Fundamental Rights, Part 2. Let's start with this chapter. In the last chapter, we studied some fundamental rights guaranteed by the Indian Constitution. We studied the rights of liberty, equality, and the rights against exploitation. In this chapter, we shall also learn about the right to freedom of religion, cultural and educational rights, and we shall get acquainted with the judicial protection available for the fundamental rights. So, these are all the points we are going to discuss in this chapter. So, let's start with it. The first point, right to freedom of religion. So now, what is the right to freedom to religion? Let's see. India, we know, is an important secular country in the world. We have studied it in the previous classes. But you must be curious to know what the Indian Constitution says about it, isn't it? It is included in our rights to freedom of religion. According to it, each Indian citizen is free to practice any religion and to establish institutions for religious reasons. So, our country, it is free, it is the right which is given by our constitution that according to our choice we can choose any religion. No any institution, no any organization can have the authority to remove us from that religion or to go against to our religion. So according to our choice, according to our freedom, we are having freedom of our religion. According to each Indian citizen is free to practice any religion. We can pray to any god, we can accept any religion as according to our choice. This is the right which is given by our constitutional law book. In order to broaden the scope of the right to freedom of religion, two things are not permitted. So, against this, 2 points they had given which should not be permitted. The first one is, state cannot impose religious taxes that might be used to encourage a particular religion. That is, our constitution forbids religious taxes. So, no any taxes. It is the responsibility of the government that they cannot impose any religious taxes. It made for the encouragement purpose, not to discourage the people. So, according to our constitution, forbids religion taxes are taken. Religious education cannot be made compulsory in educational institutions that receives aid for the state. So as it should not be made compulsory for the education in the schools that as a compulsory religion subject. It should be optional for the students, so no any religion should be taught in the school. Cultural and educational rights. We can see that there is a great diversity of festival, food and ways of life in our country. As from 3rd standard, from the childhood you are studying about this, that our country is a diverse country. We are having diversity in languages, festivals, in our different colors, different diet, our food is different, our clothing is different. So this diversity makes it's a great diversity of our country which makes us colorful. You may have noticed the differences in the different wedding ceremonies. As according to our religion, our wedding ceremonies are also different that you attended. All these things are part of our culture of the different communities. So different communities, their culture is different, their education rights are different. So according to their culture, according to their community, their culture will be different and their celebrations will be different. So according to our culture, we are having the right to celebrate our festivals according to our choice. Our constitution has given the different communities the right to preserve their cultural uniqueness. So our constitution has given our community that according to our culture, we can celebrate our culture. No any burden of the government should be over on our culture. So this is our uniqueness of our culture should be preserved. So the constitution had made, or the constitution had given us right to celebrate our culture according to our community, according to our religion. According to this right, people are not only free to preserve their own language, script and literature, but also make efforts towards their promotion. So, due to this right, due to right of our culture, the people, they are free to preserve their own languages, their script, their literature, their things, so that it can be helpful to make our country diverse as different like other countries, but also make efforts towards the promotion. They can establish institution for the development of their language. So different institutions can also be opened. This right is also given by our constitution, so that different languages development can be taken place, as according to our choice we can learn different languages. So different language institutions are also open to teach different languages. Find out and discuss. How many official languages are listed in the constitution? So, there are 22 official languages are listed in our constitution. Next, which institution have been established by this Maharashtra state government for the further development of the Marathi language? So, some of the institutions that have been established by our Maharashtra state government for the further development of Marathi languages are as follows. Directorate of Language of Maharashtra, Maharashtra State Marathi Development Society, Maharashtra State Literature and Culture Board, Maharashtra State Marathi Encyclopedia Production Board. These are all the different institutions which are established to develop the Marathi language. You can collect the more detail about this from internet. Let's discuss. Do you think that all the work of the government and the court should be done in Marathi in Maharashtra? What should be done to do so? So, yes, I do think that all the work of the government and the court should be done in Marathi in Maharashtra. Since Marathi is the official language of Maharashtra, to achieve this, the following should be done. I think Marathi as well as non-Marathi speaker working in the government organization and the court should be given formal training in Marathi language, so they will be able to work in Marathi language. Another work I think so we can do, workshops can be conducted to train people for conversing and corresponding in Marathi, so they will easily learn the Marathi language, and the speaking between or the official language can be easily made Marathi, and each and every person will be able to speak in Marathi language. Right to constitutional remedies. In case of encroachment of fundamental rights, the Indian citizen right to get judicial remedies is also fundamental right. This is called the right to constitutional remedies. So, what is right to constitutional remedies? As the judicial remedies which are given by as a fundamental right to us as a Indian citizen, that right are known as right to constitutional remedies. This means the constitution itself has provided for legal remedies in case people's rights get violated, so it becomes a constitutional duty of the court to protect the rights of the people. Some people, some organizations, they can try to remove our right from us, but the court and our government have to take the responsibility that to protect our rights. Sometimes the rights that are guaranteed to us by the constitution may get encroached upon and we are not able to exercise our rights. So sometime what will happen, that the rights that are guaranteed by our constitution may get encroached, means it may not work. So in that situation, if the rights are not in use, so the rights should be changed. But we cannot change the rights without the government bill pass. When the government will discuss in Vidhan Sabha, in Vidhan Parishad, and according to that bill, when that bill will be sent to governor, and after the getting the permission from governor, we can make it as a law. So this is called an infringement of our rights. So here we can see that we are not able to exercise our rights if the constitution has banned on that right. The court considers or complaint, investigates it, and in case it is convinced that rights have indeed been infringed upon and an injustice has been done to the aggrieved individual, the court gives an appropriate verdict. So if something happens like this, so in that case the court will discuss, a complaint can be taken in the court, and according to the court suggestions, the decision will be towards the court only. No any decision by the public can be taken about the rights of the public. Some instance of infringement of rights: arresting an individual without reason. So this is the right which is given by our government, that without a paper, without a arrest warrant, we cannot be arrested. So no any individual should be arrested without the arrest warrant. Preventing a person from leaving a village or a town without giving a valid reason. If there is no reason, we cannot remove a person from a village or from a particularly town. Refusing food, water or medicines to jail inmates. So we cannot keep a person without food, water or medicine if they are needed. So we cannot refuse them in the jail. So if a person is kept in a jail, it is the duty of government to provide food, water and medicinal aids to that person. Rights as constitutional remedies. Courts have powers to issue various kinds of writs to protect the rights of the citizen. Habeas corpus. So now what is habeas corpus? Protection from unlawful arrest and detention. So habeas corpus, this is the protection which will shows the unlawful arrest or detention. So under this, the government will take an action against that police. Mandamus, the order of the court, the Supreme Court or the High Court, commanding the government to perform an action that is its duty to perform in public interest. So mandamus means what? As according to the Supreme Court and the High Court, it is amendment to the government officers to work for the public. So for the public interest, if the person is not working, so we can take action against that person. Prohibition to prevent a subordinate court from exceeding its jurisdiction. So prohibition, under this we can prevent subordinate courts from exceeding its jurisdiction. If a court is not giving a proper judgment, so we can prohibit that court. Quo warranto, to restrain a person from acting an office to which he is not entitled. So under this, if the person, he is not a criminal or he is not done anything, so without a reason we cannot punish a person. Certiorari, to order the removal of a lawsuit from a subordinate court to a superior court. So if we want that, if we feel that the court, what the judgment they had given, we are not accepting that or we had not done that mistake, so we can move towards the High Court or Supreme Court from the lower courts. So the orders can be as according to the law it should be subordinate court, should be a superior court, so that the judgments which will be given in that courts should be proper and in by the side of the public and by the way of truth. Is the reaction of this government official right or wrong? An officer tells a woman who prevents all the documents for getting the benefits of a scheme for destitutes, "You don't look like a destitute," and refuses her the benefits of the scheme. In this sense, do you think the woman's right has been infringed? Where should she go to get redressal? So in this case, the reaction of the government official is wrong, and I do think that the woman's right has been infringed upon. She should go to the court to get redressal for the infringement upon her right. So this is infringement of the law. So picture they had shown, which is inside a court. A judge is there, public is there, and judgment is done here. This is one of the picture of court. Let's see the remaining part of our chapter. Because the fundamental rights are thus protected by the courts, citizens are able to exercise the rights. They can fulfill their roles as alert, responsible, and active citizen. While considering fundamental rights, we also need to remember our duties. In the next chapter, we shall study our fundamental duties. So as a citizen, we should know that what are our rights. If we have to protect our rights by ourselves by the way of court. If someone tries to remove the rights from you, you have to go to court and you have to fight for your right. This is the responsible and active citizen. So in next chapter, we will study about the fundamental duties. What are our fundamental duties that we are going to see in the next chapter. Now, read the chapter once again, complete the given exercise, and by heart the question and answers which are given in exercise. That's all for today. Thank you.